In fact, N.G Company Ltd is owned by Nundun Gopee and Vinash Gopee, who were very, very close to the previous Prime Minister. On the basis of information gathered, N.G Company Ltd was awarded the following contracts. One, a contract awarded by the NHDC Ltd on the 29th of April 2015 for the construction of 73 low-cost housing units and associated infrastructural works and 13 service plots at Petit Bel Air. The initial amount of the contract was estimated at 88 million rupees. However, a final payment of 110 million rupees was made to N.G Company Ltd to cater for variation works estimated at 22 million rupees. I wish to inform the House that N.G Company Ltd had subcontracted the entire work to Pi Big Construction Ltd for an amount of 76 million rupees. Hence, N.G Company Ltd pocketed the difference, that is an amount of 34 million rupees, for a project it acted only as a middleman. This is clearly in violation of the condition of the contract. Two, another contract awarded by NHDC Ltd on the 29th of September 2016 for the construction of 50 housing units and associated infrastructural works at Souillac for a sum of 82 million rupees. On the 29th of December 2017, the Ministry of Health and Wellness, after an international bidding exercise, awarded the contract for the construction of the new ENT hospital at Vakwa to a joint venture led by Ramacivil India Corporation PVT Limited and N.G Company Limited for a sum of 926.2 million rupees. 4, N.G Company Limited was awarded on the 22nd of May 2023 through direct procurement a contract for the design and construction of 800 housing units for a total amount of 2.2 billion rupees by the National Social Living Development Limited. However, on the 3rd of July 2023, NSLD terminated the contract due to failure by the latter to comply with the terms of the letter of acceptance and the conditions of contract. I'm informed that N.G Company Limited, in fact, wanted to subcontract the work again to other companies as it did in the previous projects. In addition, Madam Speaker, I must point out that N.G Company Limited has benefited from various other largesse. These include a sum of 550 million rupees from the MIC for the construction of the luxury retirement village known as Royal Green. It is worth pointing out that MIC was supposed to support systemically large, important, and viable corporations or companies incorporated in Mauritius which are financially distressed as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. Second, a 3-acre plot of land in Eben through Landscope, following which it contracted a loan of 600 million rupees from the SBM for a building project on a plot of land retrieved from Mauritius Post Limited, which was the lessee. 3, at its 7 Exchange Square building in Eben, SBM, the very bank that lent money to N.G Company Limited, acquired several floors and 50 attached parking slots for 283.5 million rupees. Fourth, was the same building, 7 Exchange Square. The EDB signed a lease agreement on the 9th of August 2019 for 5,000 square meters of office space and 130 parking slots. On the 30th of May 2024, the EDB signed a second lease agreement for an additional office space of 170 square meters at the ground floor of the same building and also 2 additional parking slots. ADB currently pays 4,068,000 rupees per month for this rented space. So far, the EDB has paid a total rental amount of 104 million rupees and 900,000 from December 2022 to date, and a syndic fees of 7.2 million rupees. FSC 5. FSC pays 5,174,460 rupees per month to N.G Co Ltd for the rental of 5 floors and 135 parking slots at X7 Exchange Square. 6, a contract between Mauritius Telecom and Royal Green for the provision of medical services by the Royal Green Hospital to employees of MT for an estimated amount of 13,038,749 rupees for over 3 years. 7th, financial support from Industrial Finance Corporation Ltd to the tune of 64 million rupees to Royal Green Healthcare Ltd. 8th, Mauritius Ports Authority granted a lease of 25 years of a plot of 1 hectare of land in the port area of N.G Marine Services, which is part of the N.G Group of companies. 9th, N.G Co Ltd also benefited from a lease of state land for its luxury villa project, Asmara at Rivière-des-Anguilles, from which it pocketed hundreds of millions of rupees from the sale of the villas. Madam Speaker, the House may also wish to know that on the 15th of April 2024, a decision was taken by the then government to relocate the office of the Financial Crimes Commission on the flimsy excuse of infrastructural defects in the building. This was but a ploy to lease the land to N.G Co Ltd, which had already benefited from the land retrieved forcibly from the Tamil Cultural Center. This formed part of the strategy of N.G Co Ltd to expand its domain of the entire Rajwi Triangle with the blessings of the former government. Madam Speaker, let me also add a few words about the land scam initiated by the management of Landscope Limited in 2019, a few months, that is, before the general elections. This related to a decision of the board to allocate 550 acres of prime land in a strategically located area at the heart of Côte d'Or City project under the Landscope Development Scheme. This project was estimated at more than 25 billion rupees. Despite the fact that following an expression of interest exercise, 32 developers were deemed eligible to receive plots, the board, under the leverage of the cabinet and then the then Prime Minister personally, decided to allocate the land to only 2 companies, out of which 250 acres were to be given to N.G Co Ltd. Madam Speaker, Mr. Gérard Sampeur, the then chairperson of Landscope, vehemently opposed the decision, raising serious concerns about the lack of transparency, fairness, and procedural irregularities. He stood firm despite thinly veiled threats for resisting a recommendation of the cabinet. He insisted that the matter be referred to the State Law Office. Following the advice of the State Law Office, the board had to rescind the contract, the decision, thus aborting what was going to be another scam, probably the scam of the century. Shortly after that, Mr. Sampeur resigned as chairperson of the board and as principal advisor to the then Prime Minister. Madam Speaker, the House will recall that just before the general election last year, a strategic plot of land in the area of Anse-Larrey Beach was allocated to Luxury Suisse Limited, another entity owned by N.G Co Ltd. In view of the major public outcry that followed, he had no choice but to abandon the project. Madam Speaker, if we compute the total figures N.G Co Ltd. Has so far benefited, it is around 2 billion rupees for various projects, around 205 million rupees for rental of office space to government entities, and around 1.25 billion rupees as direct financial support from SBM Ltd, the MIC, and the Industrial Finance Corporation Ltd. It should be pointed out, Madam Speaker, that Mr. Vinash Gopee chaired several bodies, including the Tourism Authority, the Mauritius Multi-Sports Infrastructure, the Drains Infrastructure Construction, among others. Madam Speaker, all the information I've given to the House show clearly that the MSM government has systematically, since 2015, weaved a cobweb of corruption, malfeasance, nepotism, and cronyism to bleed the country of important resources for their personal advantage. This is but one example how they fleeced the economy and left the country in the mess that we find ourselves today.
No, I'm sorry. Okay. The time is up.